Good morning. So, yeah, here's the one that I'm not sure how it is gonna end, but I'm just curious to try it out. And this has been recommended by one of the viewers, Ellen. So, thanks, Ellen. Makes sense, worth giving it a shot. Now, first off, we are gonna proceed with measuring the sag. So, for that, tape measure, a marking anywhere on the chases wherever you feel comfortable. This is where I feel comfortable. So first, just spike is on the center stand, fully extended from here till here. Let's do it in millimeters. That's coming out to be 42. So let's, that is 420 millimeters basically. So now let's measure the static sag. Static sag is just gonna be the bike's weight on its own with no rider on. I'll be taking it off the center stand and the bike will be resting on the front and rear wheel. So there we are, bike resting on the wall, straight up. I pulled down the side stand just in case if it tries to fall this way, it will handle it. But be very careful and it should be easy. 367, and currently I am at the sixth setting of the notch, so yeah, that should be noted as well. Now let's get on the bike and then calculate the rider sag. The second person would really come in handy at this point, but well, I'm just gonna sit and just try to get a rough idea. So you would have had a better look at that, but I think what I checked the video and that was 340 mm. Again, remember that's on 6 notch and suspension travel is, as we know, rear suspension 180. So if you are doing this just for preload adjustments, you don't need to calculate static sag. That's this one. I am just doing it for different purpose, so that's why I've noted it down. But basically what you have to do is subtract the rider sag from the total sag, that is 420 minus 340. Now it is considered that somewhere around 30 to 40% of total suspension travel is good rider sag figures. So basically that would turn out to be, yeah, so that turns out to be 54 mm if we calculate 30%, 40%, 72. Now if you look at these figures, 54 is far off at 30% and 40% would be 72. Okay, that is still close enough on 6 notch. We are basically 1 notch left after 6th, so let's proceed. So tried it on the 5th, it was about 2 mm smaller, so again moved it back to 7th to see, and on 7th it is showing slightly better numbers. So gained again almost about 3 mm. So basically on average, on every notch, we are dropping, I mean, we are gaining about 2.5 to 3 mm. So I tried it on 5th as well as on 7th. On 5th, I dropped to somewhere close to 338. And on 7th notch, I moved up to 343. So that roughly brings it to 77 mm. Please pardon my writing, but yeah, so yeah, 77 mm. And again, close if we calculate 40%, and if we try to calculate at 30%, again, far off. And this is not in riding gear, not with any luggage. So these numbers are just gonna drop even further down if I try and calculate it that way. And after 7th notch, there is nothing else. So I get no adjustability after that. So the idea is to gain some adjustability after the 7th as well. Let's see. But why am I getting into all of this? Let me show you. Do you see that? All that has happened. And that is the reason why I think something needs to be done about that. Because on the last ride, with all the luggage and everything set up, full tank, I was carrying at least 35, at least 35 kg of total luggage. Could have taken light, I'm not denying that is possible, but overall it did not feel right. I had to move the bike from 5th to 6th notch. Even that did not do much. I wanted to move to 7th, but I was kind of lazy, and the bash plate and everything, it just sank in. So what I'm thinking, as suggested by Alan, that I can maybe add spacer between the spring and the shocker. That would allow somewhere around, I would say, 5 to 7 not too much. I'll do the calculations and I'll post update on that later, but that is the basic idea. And then once I've added the spacer, I'll just completely move back to 1 or 2 setting on the notch for city riding, because that would mean that, okay, I'm somewhere around 4 or 5 in city, and whenever I have to go for a ride and put up all the luggage, I can dial it and fine tune it better. Is this the perfect solution to this problem? No, absolutely not. Ideally, I should be going for a better suspension or a higher rated spring. But on the note of, well, saving money, let's give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. So let's move on. This was the easy part. I have covered how to remove the airbox, to clean the injector, throttle body as well. And we would have to remove the airbox, battery and everything to get access to the top bolt of the suspension, which is somewhere here. So we'll have to start repeating that entire process. I'll cover the important bits. Have opened both the terminals. Now let's disconnect these wires again. Small screwdriver might be needed. So all these out of the way. 10 mm to loosen this. This is gonna slide out first and then carefully come out like this. As I said, battery terminals are already removed. It is going to come out at an angle though. Remove this 10 mm. Now this can loosen again, 10 mm. Then there is this 12 mm. This also has to be taken out. So this is that bracket. Next up, have to remove this plate. For that you have 10 mm here, and then over here you can see those from the above as well, this and this. So these might have to be held from one place and then loosened from the underneath. So let me do that. Now this plate can come out very carefully. Just push it like this. There is a mount of the ECU on this. Just make sure that's taken care of. First it is going to come out from underneath there. It's just stuck in the bolts, so slide it forward and there you have it. So now we are here and you see this 1, 2 and 3, 10 mm. All three, just open these. There it is, 1, 2, 3. Next up, remove the air filter scoop. So air filter off. Next, remove this fuse box assembly, again mounted on rubber, and the temperature sensor as well. Yeah, someone was mentioning that they have relocated it. Yeah, good idea. A lot of people do that to actually get close to the temperature that is outside, other than just, you know. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so this you can just take it out and place it higher up so that you can get the temperature if you're interested in that. Next up is going to be removing the ABS connector. So that is the ABS connector that is connected to the ABS unit. There is this tab, you see this, just press it and pull this lever back. There is a zip tie that holds the fuel injector to the air box. So yeah, a screwdriver just to loosen it up, and then there is this hose that's coming, and then there is this sensor, and then another hose down one. That's all that we have to do at this point. Very carefully just pull the hose out. Now we are almost ready to pull the airbox out. I know there is a hose down, but that is a bit obstinate. This one. So, and that connector for sensor, that's there. That would have to be disconnected as well. So yeah, that hose is out, and now all that is left, if you can see, this connector, again a small tab, you disconnect it, and there you have it. And there you have the box. It is going to come back that way. So that's finally all the parts off. Now just one small piece of advice. This one, which is connected to airbox, this hose is going to be a bit difficult. So just unmount it from here, again using a plier, just on the clip, and then airbox can be extended back, and then you can take that out. Now for the last bit, let's remove the suspension. Again 14 mm and 17 mm on that side. Basically no hammering required. I have suspended the swing arm with the help of a jack this time. You can do the same by putting something to equate the level between the tire and the ground. But the idea is simple, no hammering, and this should come off with slight wiggling of the swing arm. Here you go. Now same for the bottom one. That would be this one again, 17 mm on that side, 14 mm on this side. Don't have to remove anything else. Just loosening this and the top nut that we loosened, that one, we'll be able to take the suspension out. So let's get that done. Okay, so here we are. Suspension is out. This spacer is about 10 mm. So this would have to be machined, and as you can see, we are at the 7th notch. Yeah, I should have maybe brought it all the way back down to first before removing it, but anyways. And from first notch, you see all the notches here. From first notch to 7th notch, it is roughly about 1 mm each on each notch. So yeah, that's 5.5 or 6 mm, give or take. So what I'll do is, I'll have this machine down to 5 mm and have it added here, then move all the way back down to 0. I'll just be adding 5-6 more preload settings by adding this, and again would have to check for the inner diameter of this, and that is coming about 44 mm. So yeah, as you can see, it would have to be machined down 2-3 mm from inside as well to fit in there. Now there is no point wrestling with it. I do have spring compressors, but trust me, it is lot easier to just take it to a suspension guy. He can compress the spring. There is a lock that comes out from here. This will come out, and then the spacer will be added after it has been machined. So let me have this opened. Let me have this machined. Okay, say hello to Amir bhai, who is helping me with this. So this is as per spec now, and we'll be taking it to the suspension guy. Thank you, Amir bhai. Okay, so back from the lathe shop and the suspension shop, and as you can see, this is the spacer that has been added. Now this is 5 mm. I calculated before. I got 2 made. This is 6 mm, and yeah, this is 6ish. Yeah, 6.1413. I'm right now at 0 for commuting to office and everything. 5 mm is okay, perfect. If I go for a highway ride for touring, I can just calculate the weight and then add maybe 1 mm, 2 mm, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically, that was the idea. The bushing, now if you can see closely, it is okay, not much damage, but starting to give up. But not that bad. This would last, and there was no replacement available either. So they have promised that yeah, eventually they would have the replacements, so that can be done at a later point. Yeah, so as you would have seen, after doing this at 0 notch, the rider sag has increased to 347. So subtracting that from the total sag of 420, that would be 73. Now again, far off from this number, the 30% so-called magical percentage or whatever. But at least now from 0 notch onwards, I have some adjustability left. Every notch at zero point 0.8 mm, 8ish, I guess, yeah. When it moves up, say from 0 to 1, I am expecting to gain somewhere around 3, 2 to 3 millimeters. I'm not exactly sure, sorry, but yeah, it's at least about 2 to 3 mm. So with luggage and everything, yeah, I think to first notch or second notch, it should be okay. I can do a test of loading up the bike and me getting dressed up, all that, but maybe at a later point. That was it for this one. I hope this makes sense. Thanks. Bye. Okay, I need to say this. Uh, I'm not a professional. I'm just doing this, just to see what can be done and how it basically feels. At no point am I recommending this to anyone, because you should understand that playing with suspension, it just changes the rake, trail, and the overall riding and handling dynamics of a bike. So, well, this is not a DIY. Okay, now thanks. Bye.